Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I want you to know that I greatly appreciate you. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Welcome to my channel. The Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. I'm going to show you some important comments from Bernie Sanders earlier today on the floor of the United States Senate. Now, I also did another video highlighting comments from the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Again, let me remind you first that the Ignition Time channel is about the country, the economy, and money. I highlighted comments from the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. So I highlighted those comments about the $2,000 stimulus checks in a video on our channel earlier today. So definitely check out that video. Now, I'm going to cover some important comments from Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont. He made a passionate plea, a very passionate plea for the $2,000 stimulus checks. In fact, Bernie Sanders essentially called out the Republicans who called the $2,000 stimulus checks socialism for the rich. And he called them out and said, hey, you never had a problem when you were passing tax breaks for the wealthy. And I'm actually about to show you comments from Bernie Sanders. His voice actually got louder and louder the more he spoke. Some of the comments that jumped out at me were that he said, bring the bill to the floor. And again, he wanted a vote on the $2,000 stimulus checks. He did get an objection from Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas. And again, he criticized the Republicans' notion that this was socialism for rich people, meaning the $2,000 stimulus checks, because you heard an argument earlier from the number two Republican in the United States Senate, the number two Republican John Thune from South Dakota, who said that individuals making hundreds of thousands of dollars could potentially get a lot of money. So Senator Bernie Sanders said that the Republicans were okay passing huge tax breaks for corporations, and what he did was he bought poster-sized checks. Yes, he bought poster-sized checks to the Senate floor, showing the millions in tax rebates that companies like Amazon, Chevron, and Delta Airlines receive. Now, keep in mind the fundamental philosophy for the Republicans here is, hey, give them tax rebates so they create more jobs. But Sanders said this is what socialism for the rich is about. He was referring to corporate giveaways. He said socialism for the rich is not in the midst of this terrible pandemic, putting a $2,000 check into the hands of working families. In other words, he said it's not socialism for the rich to send out $2,000 stimulus checks. And he said there's a bit of hypocrisy here. Pretty strong comments, everybody, from Bernie Sanders. Let's actually take a look at some comments from Sanders. I want to know what our viewers and subscribers think. Let's take a look at comments from Bernie Sanders on the floor of the United States Senate earlier today. Let's watch.
Say to my friend Senator Thune, I concur with you. What a pleasure it is to be spending New Year's Day with you and our colleagues. Exactly what I know and every other member here wanted to do. But here we are because we have to be here. And we are here because back home in my state and all over this country, millions and millions of families are struggling to put food on the table. They are struggling to pay their rent. They are struggling to come up with the money they need to go to the doctor. And this hits me in a sense, in a personal way. I just received the other day from a colleague of mine in Burlington, Vermont, where I live. Burlington, Vermont, largest city in the state of Vermont, all of 40,000 people. And what a volunteer wrote to me, they said, this is the quote, reporting on a food drive in Burlington, Vermont, where I live. Quote, over 30 volunteers showed up to the Champlain School to help bag groceries and to hand them out to those who came out. Unfortunately, there was not nearly enough donated food to provide a bag to everyone who showed up, despite us planning on an increased need. The line of cars filled the parking lot, wrapped around the school, and went out onto the main road for half a mile. This represented a major uptick from the October event that we were involved in. This is Burlington, Vermont. Hundreds of cars lining up for emergency food, and the volunteers did not have enough food to distribute. I have to say, to families who are trying to feed their kids, sorry, we do not have enough food. So what we are doing today is very simple. And that is, Senator Thune and Senator McConnell and others have raised objection to the House-passed bill. And in the United States Senate, when we have differences of opinion, what we should be doing is debating that bill. So all that Senator Schumer is asking, all that I am asking is a simple request. Bring the bill to the floor. Not even asking you to vote for it. Bring the bill to the floor. And on top of everything else, we need 60 votes to pass. 60 votes. Can we get 60 votes? I don't know. I think virtually all.
You can start to see that Senator Bernie Sanders is starting to get more and more passionate as he's speaking, and hopefully you can sense this. His voice is getting louder and louder.
Of the 48 Democrats will vote for it. It means, Senator Thune, that we need 12 Republicans. I gather we got one right here who indicated he would vote for it. 5 or 6 others have been public about saying they will vote for it. Will we get the rest? I don't know. You don't know. But what is the problem with giving members of the United States Senate the opportunity to vote on the legislation? And when we have that debate, you can come up and you can raise all of your objections, and we can debate it. Now, I hear Senator Thune and Senator McConnell before him talk about this bill being socialism for the rich, which I've got to tell you I find, Mr. President, somewhat hysterical, because that's an issue I have been talking about for many, many years. And
Bernie Sanders is about to contradict the Republicans when they said that the $2,000 stimulus checks were socialism for the rich. It's very interesting what he says and how he presents his argument. Let me know in the comments section whether you agree with what he's about to say.
I'm very delighted that my conservative Republican friends now recognize that we do have socialism for the rich. To paraphrase Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said that we live in a society where we have socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. King was right. But despite what my Republican colleagues are saying, truth is that according to the Tax Policy Center, the top 5% of Americans, the wealthiest people in our country, would receive less than 1% of the benefits of these direct payments. Less than 1%. Doesn't sound to me like too much socialism for the rich. But while we are on the subject of socialism for the rich,
and here are the checks I was talking about at the start of this video. Bernie Sanders talks about the money that was essentially given to big companies by way of rebates. This is what Bernie Sanders calls socialism for the rich. And to make his point, he brings these huge checks made out to Amazon by the United States Treasury. Well, not literally, but what he's implying is that the United States Treasury essentially gave these rebates and these incentives to big companies. Now, the Republicans would argue that this creates jobs, but this is a fascinating, it's an interesting way for Bernie Sanders to make his point. Very interesting what he's about to say now. Let's take a look.
Which my Republican friends have suddenly become very concerned about. Let me talk about the Trump tax proposal that was pushed very hard by Senator McConnell and the Republican leadership, and where I think every Republican voted for it. You want to talk about socialism for the rich? It is not the bill that puts $2,000 into working class hands all over this country. That ain't socialism for the rich. This is socialism for the rich in that bill. Amazon, oh, by the way, I must say this if I may, we were quoting the liberal Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest guy in the world. So here is Jeff Bezos' company, Amazon, and they received a tax rebate. They paid nothing in 2018 in federal taxes. That's a corrupt tax system to begin with, but then on top of that, they received $129 million as a tax rebate. That, Senator Thune, is what socialism for the rich. In fact, this particular company is owned by the richest guy in the world. You gave him a $129 million rebate. But it's not.
As far as I can tell, $129 million is more than $2,000. And this is the point Bernie Sanders is trying to make about our system.
Just Amazon. Delta Airlines also paid nothing in federal taxes in 2018, and yet they received a $187 million rebate from that particular bill. Chevron, helping to destroy our planet with their carbon emissions, $181 million in a rebate. That, my friends, is what socialism for the rich is about. Socialism for the rich is not, in the midst of this terrible pandemic, putting a $2,000 check into the hands of working families. President, truth of the matter is that as a result of this pandemic, we are living through the worst and most difficult economic period since the Great Depression. Tens of millions of families are facing eviction. All over this country, in the wealthiest nation on earth, moms are struggling to feed their kids, keep the electricity on, and be able to go to the doctor. Now, I hear from our Republican friends that the economy is doing better, but I would like to just read to them a few of the stories that I have received in my office. We ask people, simple question, how are you doing out there? What's going on in your lives? And we receive many, many thousands of responses from people in every state in this country. Just a few, just to bring some dose of reality here to the United States Senate, which often, in the midst of all of the campaign contributions coming in here from the rich, does not know what's going on in the real world. Here's the real world. Gentleman in Texas wrote, $2,000 is the difference between keeping our apartment and being evicted. Mother in Virginia wrote, $2,000 means I can afford to feed my 3 kids. Now, maybe we should give her a long lecture on macroeconomics and how well the stock market is doing. All she's worried about is feeding her 3 children. Woman in Wisconsin wrote, $2,000 would mean not having to choose between rent and groceries and not having to ration my partner's meds. Woman in Nevada wrote, it means paying my rent and getting life-saving treatment because I can't afford the $50 copay through my work insurance just to see my neurologist right now. Father in Florida wrote, quote, it would mean I could pay my bills. My electricity and phone are about to get shut off. I didn't have money for my son on Christmas, and I won't have money for his birthday on January 2nd. Father in New Jersey wrote, it would mean I could pay off credit card debt accumulated during this pandemic, feed my children, and pay my bills. Parent in Massachusetts wrote, it would mean that I could pay my rent and electricity and put food on the table. Woman in Missouri wrote, it would mean getting out of crushing debt. It would mean survival without daily fear. Someone in Texas wrote, it would mean I could actually put food in the fridge. Man in Maryland wrote, quote, it would mean I don't have to beg or go without food, shelter, and medicine. It would mean my family stays warm another couple of months and my dad gets proper treatment.
Senator, yield for a question.
I would.
Bernie Sanders is about to get a comment from Dick Durbin, who's a Democrat from Illinois. Now, before I show you that comment, I see a message from Paul Adams, who said, how is it that they can override the president, but nobody can override Mitch McConnell? So, Paul, here's how it works. If the president vetoes something, the veto of the president can be overridden by Congress. In other words, if both the House and the Senate vote to override the decision of the president. That has actually happened as far as the National Defense Authorization Act is concerned. That has actually already happened. That happened today. But as far as the $2,000 stimulus checks are concerned, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is not bringing a standalone vote for the Cash Act, the $2,000 stimulus checks on the floor of the United States Senate. This is his decision. He's tying it with other things which the Democrats will oppose. So the 2000, what you're witnessing right now are comments from earlier today on the floor of the United States Senate as different senators made an argument for the $2,000 stimulus check. So I want our viewers and subscribers to know what's going on. Let's take a look at comments from Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois.
I'd like to ask a question to the senator from Vermont through the chair. I have listened to the Republican analysis of the bill which you and Senator Schumer and I are asking for a vote on. A bill which passed the House and would give $2,000 basically in allotments or payments to families across America with certain income restrictions. And I've heard from the other side of the aisle repeatedly that this is socialism for the rich, that this is fundamentally unfair, and that we should do things in a targeted way. That's the argument that's made over and over again. And reference has been made repeatedly to the COVID-19 bill that passed last week with 92 votes, including many of the Republicans, virtually all of them, not all of them, but virtually all of them. And so that bill, if I remember correctly, had a $600 payment included in the bill. And I asked my staff, would you please analyze the formula for distributing the $600 and compare it to the formula for the $2,000, which is part of our bill. And lo and behold, they discovered it's the same formula. So if there is some fundamental moral injustice in the distribution of these funds, then I'm afraid all but 6 of the Republicans are guilty of the same immorality because they all voted for that formula last week when it was $600 and now are scandalized by the notion that the same formula they voted for would be used for a $2,000 payment.
Dick Durbin's argument is that if you voted for $600, why would you now call $2,000 socialism for the rich? Because the same people are receiving the $2,000 versus the $600. This is Dick Durbin, Democratic senator from Illinois, making the argument to support Bernie Sanders' argument on the $2,000 stimulus checks from earlier today on the floor of the United States Senate.
I'm sure I've missed something in the translation here. I'd like to ask the senator from Vermont to explain this faux outrage from the Republican side of the aisle.
Well, I think my friend from Illinois missed nothing in the translation. He's exactly right. But I also...
Senator from Illinois makes a good point. Senator, yield for a question.
Yeah.
So if the same formula is used and you're increasing the amount...
You're looking at Senator John Thune, the number 2 Republican in the Senate after Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell from South Dakota, who basically expressed concerns about the $2,000 stimulus check, basically saying it would go out to people who made several $100,000 a year. It was not targeted enough, and he said it was, we need to have a more specific, a more targeted approach. So let's hear the response from Senator John Thune, again, Republican from South Dakota, to what Dick Durbin, from Democrat from Illinois, said and what the independent Bernie Sanders from Vermont said. Let's hear the Republican side of this argument on the floor of the United States Senate earlier today.
By $1,400 per person. So you're going from basically for a family of 4, what would be $2,400 payment to $8,000 payment. And you phase that down using the same formula. Does the senator from Illinois understand the math and why that skews toward people who make a lot more money than they would under the other formula?
If the question's directed toward me, I'll answer it.
Well, I just think that you're making a point and a statement which is not accurate, because you're saying the formula is the same. The formula is the same, but the inputs change. And so the way it ramps down means that somebody who makes $350,000 gets a payment under the Sanders-Hawley proposal that they wouldn't know, and it phases out a lot sooner, as you know. So let's be clear about how that formula works, because you are misrepresenting the way that formula works.
And I asked my friend from
Vermont has the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
By the way, you're watching this. This is recorded from earlier today. Just to give you an indication of the bizarre times we live in. As I'm recording this, President Trump is tweeting about Alec Baldwin and Saturday Night Live. I'll show you that tweet in just a second, but let me finish some of the comments from Dick Durbin, just to give you a sense of the bizarre times that we live in. Let's get back to the debate, if you will, between the independent from Vermont, between the Democrat from Illinois, and between the Republican from South Dakota, recorded earlier today on the floor of the United States Senate.
I would ask my friend from South Dakota, do you disagree with the Tax Policy Center, which says that the top 5% of Americans, the wealthiest people in our country, would receive less than 1% of the total benefits being dispersed?
I have not seen the Tax Policy Center, but I know math, and I know as a basic principle that when you stick bigger numbers in there, and you're using the same formula to phase something out, you're going to make it available to people who make a lot more money. That is a mathematical fact. And what you are saying when you talk about the same formula, it skews entirely different in the income scale. You know that. And all I'm saying is don't misrepresent the facts.
What I am saying is that according to a very reputable tax center organization, people who do this for a living, less than 1% of the benefits of the entire program go to the wealthiest people in this country. So when you're talking about trying to say, oh my God, all of this money is going to the rich, that ain't really true. But I would also ask my friend, where did you suddenly become a religious adherent about concern of socialism for the rich
When did you become a religious adherent about concerns about socialism for the rich? When did you become a religious adherent to concerns about socialism for the rich? Comments, I'm quoting Bernie Sanders.
you gave 83% of the benefits to the rich and large corporations in the tax bill that you supported? Where was your concern about socialism for the rich when Amazon, owned by the richest guy in the world, got a $129 million tax rebate? I didn't hear much about socialism for the rich during that debate. Yeah.
Very simply, what you are suggesting, so what you're saying here is the owner of the Washington Post who said this is really bad policy and shouldn't be done in this way at the end of this year. Is that what you're saying, that because he is a wealthy person that somehow that's why he's making that statement? I think the Washington Post editorial board in most cases would be very sympathetic to the senator from Vermont's argument because they take a liberal point of view on almost every issue. My point very simply is that we have limited amount of resources. This is borrowed money, as the senator from Vermont knows. And when we spent months, literally months, and you asked, why can't you guys just come down here? Why can't you just come down here and debate this? We tried 4 months to get the Democrats down here to debate a bill. We've put a bill on the floor in September. We put a bill on the floor in October, a coronavirus relief bill. And you guys blocked it. You didn't even want to talk about it. You didn't want to have an opportunity.
So you're seeing the blame game emerging now between the Democrats and Republicans. I want to shift gears a little bit for our viewers and subscribers. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you some new tweets from the President of the United States, and I'll let you folks decide. First, let's start with a tweet from the President last night, and the President tweeted, "Finished off the year with the highest stock market in history." So clearly, that is something the President wants us to know. More recently, the President tweeted, he doesn't like Fox News. He's switching over to another network. The President of the United States also tweeted, and this is significant because this is tied to what happened on the floor of the Senate today. The Senate voted to override the President's veto in keeping with the House. So Congress has essentially overridden the President of the United States, and the President responded. And by the way, this was earlier today. Our Republican Senate just missed the opportunity to get rid of Section 230, which gives unlimited power to tech companies. Now they want to give people ravaged by China 600 rather than the 2,000. This is the President's point of view. Now, by the way, let's take a look at some more recent tweets. This is from the President's Twitter feed at the time I'm recording this. And the President commented again on Section 230. You'll see that on your screen right here. I'm just going to the president's Twitter feed live because the president's not happy about that. And the president also tweeted about something related to Saturday Night Live. So again, an indication of where we are. As you can imagine, the Democrats seized on this. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the full US Congress, meaning the House and the Senate, delivered a resounding rebuke to President Trump's reckless assault on America's military and national security by overriding his senseless veto on the National Defense Authorization Act. Now, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that the National Defense Authorization Act included pay raises for members of the United States military. And of course, it had other provisions that the president was not happy about. So the framing, again, this is all politics. The framing from the Democrats is, hey, the president didn't want our military to get more money. Very interesting when we, when we look at it that way. Let's get back to the tweets. Here's a tweet on your screen from Jake Sherman, who used to work at Politico and now is over at Punchbowl News, which is the new outlet. And Jake said the Senate tells Trump to buzz off in its last week in session, voted to override the president's veto and did not pass the $2,000 stimulus checks. John Bresnahan, also who's with Punchbowl News, said there have been a lot of conversations about what Josh Hawley is up to, and I will be outlining what Josh Hawley is up to. We're in a very unfair situation, folks. We're in a very unfair situation. There are a lot of our fellow Americans need help. Let's take a look at comments again from John Thune for a couple more minutes, and I want to know what our viewers and subscribers think. Let's get back to this.
Working at this for months, and we finally arrived after months at a proposal that helps people who need it the most, including nutrition assistance, including rental assistance, and including checks to people, $2,400 per family,
Reclaiming my time.
and including unemployment.
All that I'm saying, this is a great debate. John, we should have this debate. And in 2 minutes, John, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say you support what we're doing, and then we will have this debate. That's your opportunity. But I want to get back. The senator from South Dakota did not answer the question that there was not apparently huge concern about socialism for the rich in the bill that they supported.
Now, I just want our viewers and subscribers to know the United States Treasury, the government, did not give Amazon $129 million, but they got $129 million in tax rebates. In other words, this was money that did not get paid to the government. But again, Bernie Sanders is using that check to make a point that when Republicans talk about socialism for the rich, the rich are, getting the rich are getting significant tax rebates. So the $2,000 stimulus checks in Bernie Sanders, his argument is that it is not socialism for the rich. $2,000 helps some of our most vulnerable fellow citizens make rent, put food on the table, keep the lights on. That is the argument that took place earlier today on the floor of the United States Senate. If you're just interested in, hey, where's the $2,000 stimulus check? I have news for you. The $2,000 stimulus check is not happening. But the reason I'm highlighting this is because I want our viewers and subscribers to understand both sides of the argument. The Ignition Time channel is about making you a more informed citizen. Let's get back to what Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont said.
We're worried about the debt that would incur. So I see, if I may say so, a bit of hypocrisy here. Senator Thune and the Republican leadership wants to debate this issue. So do I. I think it's a great debate. Great debate. Now, as everybody knows, Senator McConnell proposed an idea. I don't agree with it, but it's an idea that's worthy of debate and discussion. And he said, let's combine three elements together. Let's incorporate the bill passed in the House by 2/3 of the House, including 44 Republicans. Let's add to that the repeal of Section 230 of the Telecommunications Act, and let's also add to that, at President Trump's request, an issue about voter integrity, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? That is what Senator McConnell proposed. And in one moment, I am going to bring, see, I know Republicans think I don't do much for them, and I'm not concerned about them, but Senator Thune, I'm going to bring your bill to the floor, show you what a nice guy I am. New year, I'm going to bring Mr. McConnell, Senator McConnell's bill right to the floor, and give you an opportunity to vote for it. All that I am asking, while I bring Senator McConnell's Republican bill to the floor, we are going to bring the bill that passed the House with 44 Republicans to the floor as well. We'll have 2 votes.
Okay, now this is important. Now I don't know if our viewers and subscribers caught this, but Bernie Sanders, here's what's going on. Okay, the Senate Majority Leader wanted to combine the $2,000 stimulus checks with the repeal of Section 230 with the Presidential Commission on looking into the elections. What Bernie Sanders is saying is, hey, let's do this $2,000 stimulus check proposal and let's do the other 2 things, but let's do this first and let's get the $2,000 stimulus checks passed. In other words, let's not combine all 3. That's what Bernie Sanders is proposing. Let's watch how the Republicans respond. Let's get back to this. I'm helping our viewers make sense of what happened earlier today on the floor of the United States Senate.
On Senator McConnell's bill, needs 60 votes to pass. 1 bill on the House. 1 vote on the House bill, 60 votes to pass. That's it. So it's hard for me to imagine how Senator Thune will object to us bringing forward the Republican bill. Here it goes. This is the legalese that I need to say, and I'm going to bring it forth, and I'm sure that Senator Thune will support me in my effort. I ask unanimous consent that if cloture is invoked on the veto message.
This is an official request from Senator Bernie Sanders for a vote on the $2,000 stimulus check that took place earlier today.
On H.R. 6395, National Defense Authorization Act, that notwithstanding Rule 22, at 3 p.m. today, short period of time, 3 p.m. today, Friday, January 1st, the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 645, H.R. 9051, to provide a $2,000 direct payment to the working class, that the bill be considered read a 3rd time and the Senate vote on passage of the bill, and that if passed, the motion to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table. Further, that following the vote on H.R. 9051, the Senate proceed to consideration of calendar number 644, S5085, that the bill be considered read a 3rd time, that there be 1 hour of debate on the bill, equally divided and controlled by myself or my designee and Senator McConnell or his designee. That following the use or yielding back of that time, the Senate vote on passage of the bill, and that if passed, the motion to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table, all without intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
Mr. President.
The senator from Missouri.
Mr. President, reserving the right to object, I want to say that I can't for the life of me figure out why.
Now, we're about to see comments from these are comments from Josh Hawley from Missouri. I actually wanted to highlight some of the things that Josh Hawley from Missouri is doing, so I'm actually going to address that in a separate video. But I do want our viewers and subscribers to know that Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas, did indeed object to the request from Senator Bernie Sanders, and he objected on behalf of Pat Toomey, Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. This basically crushed the chances of the $2,000 checks passing the United States Senate. That's what happened today. As far as Josh Hawley from Missouri is concerned, I will be highlighting his comments in another video, because there is something that Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri is doing that I wanted to highlight in another video. So those were the updates from earlier today regarding the $2,000 stimulus checks on the floor, everybody, of the United States Senate. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I want you to know that I appreciate you. The Ignition Time channel is like one big party. What I mean to say is we are a strong community. My goal is to bring you the truth wherever it might lead us. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This is some information about me. You learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I invite you to become a part of our community. The Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. It doesn't matter to me whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, pro-Biden or anti-Biden. For me, it's not about the red or the blue, it's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm an American first. We are all Americans first. I want to welcome you to our channel. On the Ignition Time channel, my goal is to educate you about money. So it's raining money. So it's constantly raining money, and we're constantly in a party mode, and we're constantly in a confetti mode, and I want us to be happy. Now, I know that a lot of us are starting to get the $600 stimulus checks, and I know a lot of us are dancing. No, but jokes aside, if you learn something new from this channel, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would greatly appreciate that. Keep in mind that we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time. You can get on our SMS alerts list. All I ask you to do is simply get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you'll get added to SMS alerts list moving forward. Now, you'll get important news, you'll get breaking news, you'll get important alerts, and you can opt out of these alerts at any time. If we release any kind of a training program, you'll be the first to get notified, because these training programs will be extremely limited. You can opt out of the SMSs at any point in time. No concerns about that. You can also get on our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. ignitiontime.com/alerts. You'll become a part of our VIP insider community. Again, by either sending a text message or by going to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts. And you can then become a part of our VIP community. And you can opt out of the VIP community by email or by SMS at any point in time that you want. Now, one of the things I'm especially proud about as far as our community is concerned is how bipartisan we are, how intelligent, how respectful we are, and the fact that we engage in healthy debates in our community section. In the comment section below, there's a communities tab on our channel. So definitely comment below and become a part of our growing community. I've already seen many friendships formed in our community, which is amazing to see. Please share this video with 2 friends or family members, just 2 friends or family members. That would mean a lot to me. If you learn something new, please give me a like. Please give me a like. And also, if you're not a member of our community yet, just click subscribe and then enable notifications, and then you'll become a part of our growing community. I have a crystal ball, as you can see, and basically I make predictions about what's likely to happen with the country, with the economy, and with your money. I want you to be happy. Like I said, I want you to be in a party mode. I don't want you to be angry. I don't want you to be upset. I want you to smash the like button, but don't do it in a way that don't do it in a way that smashes the screen. Join us, become a part of our growing community. As always, you'll find a link in the description section below to all our resources. So this way you can dig deeper into the content that we release. So definitely check out the description section of our video. You can follow us on Instagram. Simply follow us on Instagram at ignition_time. That's our Instagram handle. That's ignition_time. You'll get exclusive news and content from us on Instagram. Now, you can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So make sure you follow us on Twitter to get breaking news and alerts. Now, finally, YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. Such is technology. So all I ask you to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition_time. That's youtube.com/ignition_time. And then you'll be able to visit the homepage of our channel and watch our videos at any point in time that you want. Thank you so much for watching. One last time, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you. Bye.